card makers, I'm Tiffany and I'm back with another video tutorial. We're still using our August 2016 stamp of the month, Purr-fect Halloween. And as you can see, mine's getting lots of good love, lots and love. So we have a lot of stamping, cutting, and coloring today. So let's get started. So here I'll grab the materials, our cardstock that we're going to be using today. And we're only using 2 pieces of cardstock. And the dimensions of the cardstock, and along with all the materials that I'm using today, you can find on my website, cardswithtiffany.weebly.com. I'll have the link in the description below. So you can head on over there and you go to the Stamp of the Month tab, go to the bottom to the card recipe button, and there you'll get your downloadable printable PDF. And it will also have all the materials that I'm using on there, all purchased from close to my heart. So we're going to start with our white daisy. I'm going to just put my black cardstock aside for now. And most of our stamping is going to be done on here, but we're also going to need some scraps. So I'm going to pull in my scraps here, maybe. Uh-oh. Okay, I have my banner that I've already cut out from my Cricut cartridge. Now, if you don't have the Art Philosophy cartridge, it's okay. It's a simple one to cut out. So just give it a cut out. And I also have another a little piece of scrap of the white daisy. So that's all we're going to need for our stamping. So we're going to start with our, I don't know what I call it, like a banner or like the things that you would hang out at a party. We're going to start with that today. So we're going to get that. And we're also going to need our foam. Can't forget about that. So helps if I have the right size block. We pick that up and get this underneath here. Now we're going to start with our black ink. Got my black ink here. We're using a few different colors today. We're going to start with our black. And what I'm going to do is we're going to stamp this along the top. And I want this kind of in the middle. So I'm kind of using my grid paper. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but as best as you can, because we want to stamp it in the middle. We want to try to get 3 along the top of our page. So I'm going to line that up, find somewhat the middle, and stamp it down. Excellent. Ink it up again. And we're going to stamp 1 to the left and 1 to the right. And I am leaving a little bit of room between the 2 that I'm stamping. There we are. Now, I'm just going to put the black aside because we are going to need it. But now we're going to stamp that in our pear. Now, pear is retired, so you can substitute it for like willow, one of the new colors, or sweet leaf. So we're going to have to clean it. So I got my cleaner with me. Now make sure when you spray it away from your work area. So I give that a spray. And you're going to need your scrubber. You can give that a nice scrub. Okay, I'm just going to, off to the side, just dab it off. I want to make sure that there's no color left on there and all the cleaning is off, that it's nice and dry. So I'm going to open up my pear. And I'm going to ink it up. And now it don't matter because we've already have our guide from our black. So what I'm going to do is I want the one that hangs down, I want that in between these 2 here. So I'm going to stamp it just like this. Awesome. Now you're probably thinking, oh, it looks ugly, you really can't see it. What's she going to do? That's where our other piece comes in. So I'm going to bring in my scrap. I'm going to ink this up again. And I'm going to stamp it on here. Just like so. Now you're thinking, oh, that's where our cutting comes in. And that's right. And to save time, all the other ones that we're stamping, again, I'll let you know, but I've already stamped and cut those off to save time. I didn't want you to think that you want to sit there and watch me do that much stamping and cutting. So we're just going to put our pear to the side. And once again, we're going to clean off our stamp. Oop, my stamp kind of came loose there. There we are. And now we're going to use Gypsy. And that's also a color that has retired, so you can replace that with Pansy. That's one of the new colors as well. So seems that my stamp got, there we go. Now we're back in business here. So I inked it up, and I'm going to stamp this one. Now it's kind of stamping this one off to the side, so I don't want to get it on my foam. And this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to line it up between this and the edge, the one that's sticking down. Don't want to get my finger in the ink. Awesome. And then the same with the other side. Get up again. Over here, where my camera is sitting, it's in the way. Perfect. Now once again, I stamped 2 of these on my scrap, and I'm going to cut them out in the Gypsy or Pansy. So we're going to put our Pansy away for now, and we're going to bring in our Sorbet. Same thing, you're going to spritz it off to the side, and we're going to take it and clean it off. Okay, stamp it off. Now we're ready to use, oh, I think it's still moving on me. Sometimes the back, sometimes they lose their stickiness. How to fix that? Go and take a little bit of soapy water when you're washing the dishes, maybe before you wash your dishes. Just take a little bit and wash it off. It will come right clean, and it will stick to your block perfectly. So there we are. Same thing, I have my point pointing down in between. Perfect. Stamp it on my scrap to cut it out. So now we got that done. We're going to put our Sorbet away. That's color we're just using. So I'm just going to put those colors to the side. We're going to need them again in a minute. But I want to bring my black back in. Because next what we're stamping is our cat, yet again. So put down my cat, grab another block, get my cat nice and inked up in the black. I'm sorry that every time I stamp the screen wiggles. So I got my cat nice and inked up, and I want my cat on the left side of my card, just below this point, and I want his tail to almost touch the edge. So I get him in there, kind of on a little bit of an angle, and down he goes. Awesome. So we can put our cat aside now. And when I made this card the first time, I noticed that the right side was kind of like missing something. So that's when I decided that I never used the clown hat yet. So I'm going to use the clown hat. Ink that up in our black as well. And I'm going to stamp that off to the side on the right side, but kind of like it's leaning up against the edge, like it fell over. Perfect. Now, before we move on, our cat needs eyes. So I'm going to bring out my small block. And you can use any eyes that you'd like. I still like these little cat eyes. And I did lie to you. I'm sorry. I'm bringing out my Gypsy again because I want his eyes to be in the Gypsy. Like I said, there was lots of stamping. I forewarned you. There. Now we're done with the color ink. But we're not done our stamping yet. So we're done with this. We're going to put that aside. We're going to bring in our scrap again. And we're going to stamp our bat. So I got to trade blocks here. I have more stamps than I do blocks. So pick up my bat, ink him up, and there we are. Now, we just got to bring in our little banner, and if you notice there, it's kind of, can you see it's kind of cut off the top of my banner? Oops. But you know what? We'll make it work. We'll put it on the bottom, and you know what? We'll make it work. I don't like throwing nothing away. So we bring in our banner. I flop it down because it's just a lot easier to pick up like that. Ink it in our black. And we're going to get underneath of it here. line it up, and down it goes. Sometimes you gotta get your nail in there and flick it off. Perfect. Now, I lied to you yet again. I am so sorry. We're done with our black ink. So I'm gonna close that up and put that away. But we need our pear again. Like I said, so much stamping. So we got our pear. Got a tray blocks yet again. And I'm going to get my Happy Halloween. And we're going to stamp that in the middle with our pear. There we go. Now I promise you we're done stamping. No more stamping. Okay. So now what we're going to do is all of our coloring. So we'll just put this aside. We're done with our foam. So we're going to bring in our scrap piece and this piece. So what I'm going to color first, I'll use my gypsy first. Squeeze it together a little. That's how we get our pool. And we're going to be using our blending pen. And what I'm coloring with the gypsy is my bat. So all I'm doing is his wings, and I'm doing big strokes this time. Very, very light, just big strokes. Not too dark. Just enough to give him color. Perfect. Quick and simple. Pick up some ink, and I'm doing the top brim of my hat. Same thing. Light, big strokes. I just want to get rid of so much white. And this also is going to pull the color in from our banners along the top. There. Remember, we have our brush off well. And we can put away our gypsy. We're officially done with the gypsy. Now our pear. Open up our pear. Don't forget to squeeze it first. Pick up some of the green, and I'm going to do the one side of the hat. What I like about this card is that using all these colors and incorporating them and being able to color and get to use. I don't use my blending pen much, except for the last couple cards I got to do. And I'm also going to do, there's 2 other layers on this hat, so I'm also going to color in, you know, the best that I can do. It is tiny, so I'm just trying to pick up the tip and just lightly go over like that. Like I said, it's just to take off some of the whiteness from our card. And last but not least, sorbet. Okay, squeeze it, open it up, and we're going to do the other side of the hat. I like this color. And the bottom brim. Actually, I'm going to fix right there up. And, sorry, not the bottom brim, the middle brim of the hat. There we go. Clean off our brush so the next time we go to use it, it's nice and clean. Okay, so now we're done with our blending pen. But we're not done with our sorbet quite yet. We're going to need a wedge of our sponge. We're going to go and ink it up, and we're going to edge this, because if I lay this card down, it gets lost on the card with all the white. So how to fix that? We're going to edge around this. And as you see, it's going to really make it pop up. So I'm using lots. I'm going in there full force with it. I want the color to come up past the black outline and into the middle of it. And you can see I'm incorporating all 3 colors from the banner into it to tie all the colors together. One little bit there and there. So now we're officially done. No more ink. I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. Okay, so put that aside. So now what we're going to do is we have to cut out our bat and our banner. So we'll start with our bat. And I'm going to leave, you know, some white around their back. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just want them cut out. And I promise the next video I do won't have any cutting. I promise. I make all these promises, but I truly mean this one. Truly, truly do. So hit over there. Now, I just want to mention about my giveaway I do. I'm doing a Stamp of the Month giveaway, and if you go to my website and you go to the info tab, and they have all the instructions there, make sure you read them carefully, but you know, August is soon coming to an end. Make sure you submit so that you can win September's Stamp of the Month. So I'll be picking my winner, and I'll feature your card using the August Stamp of the Month on my website and Instagram. So there's our bat. And now we're going to cut out this. Now I'll show you how I cut out this. You can cut out each of the little triangles individually, but all I did is I went, and I'm going where the bat I left the white. Here I'm not, because where we already had it stamped down. If you cut some of that green off, it's not really going to matter because it's going to be underneath of it. This is just so that we didn't have to do masking and fooling around and cutting and all the stamping, so we can get the different layers. It also is going to give it a tiny bit of dimension. We're not using any of our foam dot or foam tape, but here's how I go around the edge here. So I got that all done, and I'm just going oh so slightly to the edge there, just enough so they're still all staying attached. And I'm cutting off the bows. Don't want the bows, they're already stamped on the card, like that. So get rid of my scrap. Don't need our scissors there. So now I have my other ones, my sorbet, into with my gypsy. So now we can starting to assemble this card. The first thing we're going to do is our doodling. Can't forget about our doodling. So I got my journaling pen here. And I'm going to start up in the corner here, and I'm doing the lines of the dot. So I'm starting in the corner here, going to the edge. So line, dot, and it don't matter how long you make them, you don't need your measurement or ruler. And I come to the cat's tail, I'm going to stop and pick it up on the other side. Dot. I've got some ink on my hand, I can see it on my card, but I'm okay with that. No, it happens. As a card maker, that all happens to us, and you know, we accept it. And we're almost done here. There we are. Now there are some gaps along the top here, so you can go in and, you know, make your little lines. Almost looks like they're connecting them as well. Okay, so we got it. The card's coming along quite nice, actually. Really liking it. So now we're going to attach our banners, and the easiest way to do that are glue dots. So I get my glue dots here, and we'll pick up one, and all I do is I stick a glue dot on the back of the banner. So I stick it down, peel it off. And I'm going to do all three before I try to stick it down there. And just be very careful pulling them up where they're not, the three banners aren't attached, because if not, you'll rip them. I'm just going to turn it upside down because it's how it's on my hand. And just stick them down like that, and just look how that popped. It gives it a little bit of dimension, just a little bit that we wanted, but now you can actually really see it, and see, you can still see the bows. Fine as can be. So get our pair here. Now I gotta find where my glue dots are. And they're super sticky. Ugh. Now you could use, you could use your Tombow, you could use your snail, you could use double-sided tape. If you wanted to actually pop them up, you can too, using, try not to use something that's going to pop up a lot, but, a little bit. Whatever works for you. Once again, get it lined up here, down here. Look how that's coming together. Now with our gypsy or our pansy ones, you're only going to need it on 2 because the third one always got cut off there. So we'll do this one and then our, uh-oh, it stuck to my nail. That's not where we want it to hang. There we go. I just want to come with me. So stick it down here and we'll cut that end off in a second. And now this time we got to make sure that we do this one. I always tend to forget and put it on all 3 usually. And this one in the middle as well. There. And set them down. So it's not too bad so far. Yes, we had a lot of stamping, a lot of different inks, but we're managing to get through it. So just take your scissors and you're just going to just trim up against the edge like that. You might cut off some of your other banner, but that's okay. There we are. So there, we're getting close to done. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in my black and we're going to use your adhesive of your choice and we're going to stick that down. Now I'm getting much better with this. If you watched some of my videos before, I said it was new and I was learning how to use this glue glider. Much better than I was. Just takes some practice. Stick that in the middle like that. Perfect. Now we're going to bring in our card base, and I'm using my Michael paper, the thicker, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored it in the middle. And I do suggest that you use your bone folder and you just crease that. I find it just stands so much nicer. So there we are. And we're going to take this and we're going to stick that down. Make sure your card opens. Don't want to do all that work and then have to try to, get it off, but it's probably manageable. There. Now before we move on to anything else, we're going to take our pen again, and you probably guessed it, we're going to do our doodling again. I just find that extra layer just makes it all. Now if you don't like the doodling, that's optional. I'm not, I just want to give you a new technique, something to try to work with. We worked a lot this month with the doodling, with our blending pen and our shimmer pen, which I do have, so don't worry, we're going to get that out here in a couple of minutes. So next month we'll have to work on other techniques, and that's what I'm trying to do with these Stamp of the Month cards, is show you different techniques. So there, we got that done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our banner and our bat, and we're going to need one more glue dot. So I'm just going to get a glue dot here. And we're going to stick him up in the corner there. And to make it look like he's kind of flying off, we're just going to bend up the wings just a little bit. Just looks like he's flying. Look at that. Some cute. So we're going to take our pop dots. And I'm using the thick ones again from Michael. You can use the ones from Close to My Heart. That's fine. I just want this to kind of be the center of my picture. The cat and the hat are, oops, dropped that one on the floor. The cat and the hat are kind of like the background of this. The banner and this other banner are both going to be the focal point that I want to see. So I got my glue dots on. And before I stick them on there, you probably guessed it, need my shimmer pen. So we're just going to give the cat a quick color in. Just a quick one. Just a little sparkle because we don't have no sparkly paper on here this time, so there we are. And we're also going to do our hat. And I also find it helps blend those colors together on there. Just makes them pop a little more. There we go. And we're also going to do the bat. So I'm just going to just pick this up here and just quickly do the bat. And don't forget, it does take a few minutes to dry, so just be careful. So there. So now we're going to stick this, and I kind of want it in the middle, just so he's covering up the cat a little, and also right beside the hat. Now, not quite done yet. I'm going to use my Bitsy Sparkles, and we're going to just take, I had issues last time getting these up, and I think I still am. No matter what I do, they don't like to cooperate with me. And once again, I'm just going to put them down in there, and one in the other corner. Just not want to cooperate. And I'm going to put 2 on the hat where those black circles are. Just found it gave an extra little touch. And there we have it. Oh, almost. This one doesn't want to stick. So there, now we're done. So there is our Happy Halloween card. Look at those colors. Just love those colors. A beautiful Halloween card. And I thank you very much for joining me today, and happy card making.